I would absolutely convert the 900,000 or more.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it in a million years.
I'm resurfacing the discussion Big Al and you, Joe, has mentioned a few times. It doesn't make sense to convert to a bracket that's higher than you'll be in retirement. On the surface, that makes sense. But what about those unique cases when you have, let's say, $3 million in IRA accounts and even aggressively converting in the 24% tax bracket for the next few years and still leaves you in a vulnerable high tax bracket for your RMDs? Let me introduce you to the fictitious married couple, one who is 66, still working and plans to retire in early 2023. His wife, Twosy, one in the Twosy or what?
Yeah, I think later he talks about 1 and 2.
Twosy is older than one, so is already retired and drawing Social Security. Twosy has no 401k or IRA accounts, so RMDs are not a concern for her. However, her IRMAA is being affected by one's yearly Roth conversions. So Twosy's paying a little bit more in Medicare premiums because
one's making money and wants to do conversions.
Got it. One has been faithfully making the 401ks for years. When he left his job, he's moved the 401k to an IRA after listening to YMYW podcast. One got concerned about taxes in retirement and realized he had incurred $2.8 million in traditional IRAs and deferred tax 401ks. One found out late about contributing to Roth 401k at work, so he maxed on Roth contributions and was pissed the match wasn't Roth as well, but that's for another time. One and a Twosy have about $3 million in tax-deferred accounts, $400,000 in Roth accounts, $650,000 in brokerage accounts, $200,000 in cash. So they got about $4 million. Very good job, one and a two.
Excellent.
One has been also Roth converting $90,000 to $100,000 for a few years, with plans to continue converting through 2025. So another couple of years,
sure,
going to bang out another $100,000 into the Roth. You'd be able to convert more, $250,000 if he retires in 2023. However, one realizes that at this rate, by 2025, he may have knocked out another $700,000 to $900,000 in conversions, but that still leaves close to $2 million still accruing and heading towards RMDs. Did I add that one had invested half of his IRA in some growth stock instead of moderate funds in stock, so made the IRA growth crazy worse? Well, he did. He actually learned later that he did and became more conservative, but damage done. Not wanting to lose his position, one wants to continue to convert most of his current IRA growth positions to a Roth. All right. Okay. I'm with them.
Yeah. So far, so good.
One will join Twosy in retirement and begin his Medicare in 2023. One and Twosy plan to live on $80,000 a year, with $40,000 of that coming from the total IRA accounts, $8,000 coming from stock dividends, $18,000 coming from Twosy Social Security, and the rest filled with cash. Before one takes his Social Security in 2026, that would be at his age 70. One will begin taking Social Security, which will reduce the amount he can take from the IRA amounts, which leaves more to growth in tax-deferred accounts. And at 72, RMDs kicked in. $2 million is still growing and most likely forces them into the next tax bracket at some point. As mentioned earlier, as long as one is maxing out the 24% tax bracket in conversion, Twosy's IRMAA premiums is taking it on the chin with an estimated add-on premium of 4%. This doubles up when one retires in 2 years. Together, they'll be paying out a whopping 8% more in IRMAA tax premiums. One sees this as a tax that effectively puts them in the 28% tax bracket now in the next 2 years at 32. So IRMAA is Medicare premium, and that's based on income. And so because they are doing Roth IRA conversions, they're adding income voluntarily to their tax return and hence creating higher premiums for their Medicare premiums.
Yeah, and by the way, that happens 2 years later. So there's a 2-year look back. The money that you make this year will affect your Medicare premiums in 2 years from now.
So one starts thinking, wait, why don't I just nip it in the bud and convert everything needed to get the tax-deferred accounts to a needed level, 9 0.9 million. So 900,000, leaving $1 million balance to manage for RMD as soon as possible. Then heard Big Al's voice in my head, but still studied the pros and cons anyway.
And so the question is, should he convert in a higher bracket today than he's going to be in retirement? So now he's going over pros and cons.
It's debatable.
Yeah.
Debatable if he's going to be in a higher tax bracket.
True.
Okay. All right. Here's the pros. No more conversion necessary if they can reach the goal of getting the total defer accounts down to $1 million and manage it from there. With no more Roth conversions after 2023, they can actually live in the 12% tax bracket as early as 2024. Once thinking with the value of account positions currently down with the market, this is an opportune time for one to be converting with the ability to reach the conversion goal in 2 years. They're paying out an effective 28% rate with the IRMAA hits anyway. So the sooner they stop the bleeding, the sooner IRMAA can get back to the rates of 2025 being the last hit for both of them in helping to avoid or lessen the tax torpedo. Another one here. Max out the 2032 32% tax bracket in the remaining of 2023 a 32% tax bracket into Roth conversions, and they can take advantage of the low cost of entry into the Roth accounts growing faster when things begin to turn around. All right. I like that.
Okay.
IRMAA premiums will end in 2026, just before Social Security kicks in, putting more Social Security back in their hands. This all helps one and Twosy stay in low enough tax rate to keep the capital gains rate zero as well. Cons, they're paying more taxes now to get into the lower tax bracket in retirement. Converting at the 32% versus 24 means they convert half of the 9 million. They got 9 million? Is he inflating that?
I think it's 0.9 maybe. He's got 2.8 in IRAs, 401ks.
All right. But pay out 29% in additional taxes. Converting the remaining 0.9 million at 32% versus 24% means another $29K in taxes for a total additional $58,000. Summarizing, one believes that converting $900,000 in a Roth account at the near bottom of the market sooner than later, that there is potential for that $58,000 to be recovered in a tax-free Roth account in the next 4 years, assuming the economy recovers in that time. And he and Twosy will be in much better retirement shape going forward. Worst case, it takes a couple of more years. So that's the scenario, guys. All this leads back to the question, is the scenario that would warrant converting to paying additional taxes at the higher tax bracket to potentially come out financially better later in retirement? Here's my answer to this question.
Okay.
I would absolutely convert the 900,000 or more all day, every day, right now. And here's my rationale.
In 1 year.
Yes.
Okay.
I like his, because if he's nitpicking about IRMAA taxes and he's already done the calculation of the additional tax, if the longer that money stays inside the retirement account, right? If he could keep himself in the 12% tax bracket, so he converts now, the 900,000 is low. 10, 20, 30% lower than it was a year ago because of the markets. He converts into a Roth IRA when values relatively are lower than they have been. And if the market recovers over the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years and back to levels where they were last year, 2 years, 3 years ago, he's going to make out, right? And all of that future growth is going to grow inside the Roth. There's going to be zero taxes on any distribution from the Roth. If he keeps it in the IRA, right, that's going to continue to grow tax deferred. So every dollar that he earns inside the Roth or inside the retirement account is going to be taxed at ordinary income rates, right?
Yep.
So if he has a recovery inside the retirement account and he's taxed at 24, 25, maybe he goes into AMT or whatever. I mean, I would much rather have the control of paying a little bit more tax today to keep myself in the 12% tax bracket, because I don't know where tax rates are going, right? Maybe the 12% stays to 12, but then the 15 comes back, or maybe the 25 comes back, maybe the 28 AMT, who knows? So he's taking the uncertainty of taxes off the table, and he's paying a little bit of premium to do that. Everything good in life costs something. Final comment here is that when he looks at where his income is, if he can control his RMDs even lower, right? Because he wants to get maybe the retirement account to $1 million, because then the RMD there is $40,000, right? So then he's got Social Security, but he then all other distributions could come from Roth, and tax rates are for Social Security is based on provisional income. Roth distributions don't count. So he could also get a savings from the taxation of Social Security if he does this even maybe another year. And then you add up all those tax savings over the lifetime.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, I wouldn't do it in a million years, but except in one situation.
What?
And that is if the market crashes.
It's crashed.
Right. So I would at least think about it. I would be hard pressed to do it because you're going to be paying taxes in the 32 or even 35% tax bracket. To do this, to save in the 12%.
But he would not be in the
I
12% tax bracket.
So
He's saving in the 25.
Yeah.
Or 24.
Yeah. Well, 22 now, but let's say 25 later. Right. So do I want to pay tax in the 35%, 32 versus we'll go with taxes as they're supposed to be in 2026, right? So basically you're saving, from 32 to 25, that's 7%.
But it's a marginal rate.
Right. No, I understand. But the only time I would ever think about that is if the market's down, and it is down. That's why I said I wouldn't do it in a million years unless the market's down. Then at least I would think about it. But now you're trying to time the market, and which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't.
How about if he dies? Then he's got the widow tax.
True.
What is the wife going to pay?
Well,
what is Twosy going to pay?
Well, she can do the same conversion at that point if she wants to. But their income with just Social Security and the RMD, even at $3 million, it's not huge, right?
200 grand.
Well, yeah, 150 after the standard deduction.
Sure.
Anyway, that's my only caveat. The only time I would ever consider this is when the market's down, which it is.
I don't know. I would do it all day.
I know you would.
Are you prepared for retirement? Schedule a free financial assessment with an experienced financial professional right online at purefinancial.com.